But shifting focus to India's agri market then, the Met Department has raised hopes of a strong Kharif season this year, projecting the southwest monsoon at 106% of the long-term average, with June expected to see above normal average rainfall at 108% of long-term average. The IMD also adds that the ongoing neutral El Nino conditions are likely to continue through the rest of the monsoon season, offering a relatively stable climate outlook. But what could an early and above normal monsoon mean for India's pulses crop and their prices, especially when pulses inflation continues to be a policy concern? To decode the implications, we now have Mr. Sumit Gupta, Managing Committee member of the India Pulses and Grains Association, or IPGA, now joining us. Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. So the IMD has now predicted above normal rainfall at 106% of long-term average, and the monsoon has hit India at the earliest that we have seen since 2009. But what impact will this have on prices of pulses? And now that crop is expected to be normal this year, do you expect prices to remain stable for the rest of the year?
Very warm good noon, ma'am. And it's a very important question you are asking, because when you talk about monsoon, you're talking about the lifeline of India. Because monsoon impacts around 60% of the population directly and 100% of the people in direct or indirect way. Because agriculture, as you know, is India is heavily dependent on monsoon, and it impacts not only one crop but three crops. You have raised three important questions. That is, one, on the early arrival of monsoon. Number two is about early arrival and how we see the pulses into it. And third, overall inflation part. If you look at the early arrival of the monsoon, it does not always mean good monsoon, because 2009 was not a great monsoon year. But IMD has projected good above normal monsoon, that is 106%. For us, it is important to see the spread of rainfall and quantity of rainfall and how the overall parameters of the monsoon gets performed. If you see, government has already won the war on inflation in pulses, specifically in last 2 years. The government, the way they have managed the pulses prices, the pulses supply chain, import scenario. Now the question completely shifts from inflation, how you take care of farmer. Because government yesterday has announced the MSP, and MSP is not the minimum support price. It has now become maximum possible price for farmer. And to take care of that, government at some point in time needs to support farmer, to enthuse them to grow pulses. Because even after government buying, majority of the pulses are trading below MSP, and which is not good thing for pulses for farmer decision making in the years and months to come. And that is where it is very important that we give enough incentive to Indian farmer to plant pulses. And number three, the question that we have raised is about how do we see impact of monsoon on overall food grains. We believe India as a country is fairly food secure, and we have to have that confidence in ourselves that Indian supply chains are fairly robust. And instead of taking short-term measures like putting stock limit, what government has done on wheat yesterday, we should look towards long-term food and nutritional security of this country. And for that, we need to take long-term steps. I believe sometimes short-term bandit approach, it actually defeats the purpose.
And since you spoke about MSP, I wanted to scratch that point further. I understand several pulses are trading below their minimum support price. Can you tell us which are those, and any policy support that you expect from the government to perhaps encourage farmers to grow these crops?
So, as we know, it is a stated policy of our government to give at least 50% return on the investment to the farmer, and we believe that is where, especially if you see the tuar prices, which will be the key Kharif pulse, has been increased from 7,550 to 8,000 rupees. The question is, will right now the open market price for tuar is below 7,000. It is 6,700, 800, depending on origin and place we are talking about. And from that place to 8,000 is a long task. Government is already buying tuar, pigeon peas. Government has bought around 600,000 tons of pulses, but it has not supported prices to an extent it should. And last year price of pulses or tuar was around 120,000 rupees per metric ton. So it is almost 50% what it was. So Indian farmer has ended up on the losing side because we have allowed a lot of cheap imports to come into India at zero duty. Because of that, global farmer has benefited itself, but Indian farmer has lost out. Government has put duty on chickpeas and red lentils at 10% some time back. There is a more important question of yellow peas, which is going to come on 30th of May, how government reacts to that, because it is going to decide the price of other pulses also. Uh, Personally, I'm a believer that we don't need to change duties every day, every month. We need more long-term approach, and we need confidence that India is going to produce sufficient pulses. And with this kind of monsoon, we need long-term, we need a bit of support to farmers in terms of duty and assurance that government will be there to buy those pulses.
And since you spoke about yellow peas, that was exactly my next question. So, duty-free import of yellow peas will end on the 31st of May. Do you expect the government to remain status quo when it comes to duty-free import, or do you expect that to stop going forward?
Yellow peas import in India was started on 9th of December of 2024. And after that, if I'm not wrong, we have almost imported 4.4 million tons of yellow peas till date in India. And how it has impacted global farmers, especially Canadian and Black Sea farmer, have responded well to Indian demand, and they have shipped as much as possible to India. It has cooled off inflation in India. But now the battle has shifted from inflation to care for farmer incentivization. And that is where there is a big requirement or need for government to let this circular expire on 30th of May, which has been continuously extended for 3 months. Or if government has planned to extend it, then it should be extended with 20 or 30% of import duty. That actually beef of prices of chana and pigeon peas and bring it to around MSP level and gives enough incentive to farmer to plant pulses in the coming season.
You're expecting a pause as far as that duty-free import is concerned in order to incentivize farmers, but also wanted your thoughts on how stable prices will discourage farmers from sowing kharif crops this year. How do you expect that trend to shape up? And second, how much has government bought this year so far in terms of pulses, and what is the trend looking like for the rest of the year?
So, if you look at the financial year 25, government has bought around 600,000 tons of pigeon peas, 300K of chickpeas, and around 300K of lentil, which is around a million ton, 1.2 million tons of pulses. Is it big enough? Answer is no, because last year chickpea stock in itself was around 1.3, 1.4 million ton on 1st of April, 2024. Why government was not able to buy sufficient quantity in spite of lower open market prices? This is a question that we need to go back and see. Do we have enough infrastructure to go back to farmer and buy from them, or was the incentive lacking to buy from the farmer? Because farmer has ended up on the losing side because of this situation. Now, your second question was how will farmer react? I believe farmer is in a tough spot this year because oilseed prices, pulses prices, everything is low, and they are near their cost of cultivation. So farmer has a tough choice to make whether to go for pulses or oilseed, in which both the crops they have landed up on the losing side. And it will be a tough, or it will require a lot of thinking and push from the government to see how we can increase the import duty on pulses and potentially on oilseed to help Indian farmer realize the MSP.
Okay, Mr. Gupta, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now and helping us decode what the impact of early and above normal monsoon will be on India's pulse industry. Thanks so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now.
If you like this video, then like, share and subscribe to ET Now.